You can't catch all 150 Pokemon by yourself.
So close.
You need a friend to trade.
Pokemon franchise worth estimated $95 million. This little franchise started as a handheld game, spawned anime, merchandise, movies, you name it, Pokemon has it. One of the hottest franchises in the world, appealing to all ages. Today, we'll be looking at the critical depth of the series of the video game, where it's landed its main release, Switch title,
150 Pokemon.
seeing what's up with Pokemon. Good evening. I'm celebrated investigative buglist Aaron Costello. With me is celebrated self-felcher Gabriel Morton.
Just celebrated. Watching, like, spare Chris Farley just, like, hurt a bunch of Pokemon. Because that's very sinister, that ad.
It is.
Like, I get it, but also he's, like, chuckling, like, I'm gonna crush a bunch of fucking animals into my bus, and then I'm gonna poke the bus, and the bus will tell the animals what to do. Like, that's the plotting of a crazy person.
Absolutely. So, let's just look at, to start with, before we dive into anything, Pokemon is the highest grossing franchise in the world, worth 95 billion. Licensed merchandise is worth 64 of that billion. That's huge. So merch, huge.
Everyone knows Pokemon
Next,
shit.
Video games at 17. So that's the next slice. Then we got cards at 10 bill. Box office 1.7. Manga down at 1.4.
The fuck's N-Pan, man?
Home entertainment. Where's what?
It's like 6th or something, beneath Star Wars. N-Pan, man. I don't know what that
I
is.
just want to quickly check. Oh, that thing. Sure.
All right, well, that's what my section of the
So,
fucking podcast is
The
going to be
crazy
about.
thing about this is Pokemon 1996. The next one was in 1974 worth 80 bill. 1924 with Winnie the Pooh, 75. Mickey Mouse
Disney
like Star
Princesses
Wars.
is recent, but that's also leveraging off of old shit.
Yes.
Like, it's only from 2000, but none of those Disney princesses were just made up in 2000.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's Mario.
it is huge.
It's literally the biggest. This is nuts. Aaron's having a honk cough over in the corner.
Excuse me. So today we're going
Honk cough.
to start off with, we're going to go through Pokemon over the years and sort of document what I remember.
Yeah,
and what
my
you
years
remember.
of Pokemon. Well, my years were literally 1996.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
I played Red, and I enjoyed that, and I had like a really high level Charizard and a Mew.
okay.
Or was it Mewtwo or was it Mew? I can't
Mewtwo.
remember. Yeah, you could get, I know you could get one of them. You needed the Master Ball for him.
Mewtwo, you
was
didn't
like-
need it, but it was you would be supposed to.
Okay. Yeah.
Could catch with other balls, but our sake. So Pokemon was created by Satoshi Tajiri and Ken Sugimura, and
Sugimorio.
it was the thing that spawned everything. So, concept of the Pokemon universe, both the games and general fictional world, stems from the hobby of insect collecting, popular pastime.
That's not a popular pastime. That's creepy. You're a weird kid, Tajiri.
So it was big.
Did he make his insects fight? Is that what he did?
Absolutely, you know he did. And have
Morality
sex.
and religious beliefs?
So first game's Red and Blue, or in Japan, it was actually Red and Green.
Huh.
So Green was a different cartridge, and it actually have different sprites as well to the Blue that we got. It's very interesting. Seeing
As
the
we got
sprites and stuff.
fucking shafted.
Well, we actually got better sprites
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
because theirs were a little. Some were better, some were a lot worse. So that hit in Japan, 1996. Blue was actually released in Japan as well. And
We
then
got 3 poked men.
it took 2 years to hit the US, 2 years to hit Australia, 3 to hit the EU,
That's weird.
It's rough to be the EU.
This
back
was
then.
like, this
Gotta
is what I mean.
remember
Yeah,
the
'cause that must have been in high school.
translations. So EU.
Oh,
and
yeah,
count.
it's got to be like Spanish and French and
Yeah.
shit. That's what y'all get for not just speaking English, you jerks.
So
Because I gotta, it's a weird, because I was in high school, I think my brother was still in primary school. And we were still living in this one place in fucking, the nice side of Goodenough. We'd moved. And, I swear that I had a Game Boy when we were in primary school, because I was in year 7 with the Game Boy. I don't know, man. I think fucking magic worms from beyond the veil have eaten bits of my brain.
so I was 10 at the time it was released.
That is like peak. That's the exact age you need to be.
Exactly. And
That's perfect. It is like I'm 10 years old.
I can't
what exists?
remember
Pokemon.
after a bit. So September 3, 1999. When was this one?
I was in year 11, smoking the weed.
So a year later, they released Pokemon Yellow.
That's
Now,
right,
I
because that was
know-
when the cartoon was on. Because I was really high, and Geodude was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
I know
just
I
an
didn't.
arm rock that said "dude."
Yeah, I know I didn't have the game myself. I'd hired it out from the video shop,
Right.
and I borrowed my.
It's not a great game to rent.
Oh, it was when you just rent it for a week.
Is it a weekly?
It was a weekly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's not bad. A week you can do stuff.
So
With.
yeah, it was good. Or if I rented it for a week, I can't remember.
Did it have somebody else's save on it?
Yeah, but you just delete it.
Fuck
We'll see what they've got.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really wanted it. Like, I want to attribute the staying power of this series and everything because I have my original Game Boy in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, I played this
You
fucking
have
game
your old Game Boy Clear,
on this.
and it smells
So-
like weird when you turn it on.
I remember getting the game because Nintendo came to town, and they were giving away Mew. It was the only way to get Mew at the time.
Huh.
And
Like in the game?
yeah, they had a big station set up. You plugged your cartridge in, and it would download to your cartridge.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. And I remember going there because you got like a show bag and some.
Because
merchandise
I'd
and
call
stuff.
someone a liar back then if they said they had Mew. I'd be like, "You're a fucking liar."
Yeah. So you could get it
I hit him with a rock,
that way. And
goodness style.
So I didn't have the game.
Yeah.
We went to this show, and like I begged mum, and she bought it.
Excellent.
So I had to play through the game quickly to get up to the point where I could accept the trade because you needed to have like a badge. So I had to run through the forest. Luckily, you can get a Mankey. You can knock out Brock really quick. So yeah, they released Pokemon Yellow, which was sort of
to capitalize on the
capitalize
anime.
on the anime. Yeah.
Because that's the thing is like Pokemon Red and Blue, if you haven't played them, are quite different to the anime.
Yeah.
Like Brock and Misty are there as shit, but it's like, oh yeah, I'm Brock, I'm gonna fight you, and that's it. Like, and Pikachu wasn't the main character by any stretch. So like they were like, here's Pokemon kind of like the anime, and this time you get the Pikachu at the start. And,
Yeah, Team Rocket's in there with
yeah,
Yeah.
with Jesse and James.
with a Meowth with its own unique sprite and stuff. It's cool. The Pikachu follows you around, can't evolve it. So yeah, that was cool. So that was Japan, 1998, Australia, 1999. Next release was actually a 64 game. I'm only not going to touch on all the branch games because there's too many.
Mm.
I'm just going to touch on the significant ones. I
Pokemon
think.
Snap.
Pokemon Snap
I liked Snap.
was a significant one because it was capitalized completely on the anime.
Yeah.
It was all voiced. All the
Yeah,
Pokemon
they said the
was-
fucking names.
All the Pokemon were animated gorgeously and stuff. It was, it was a very simple game, but it had depth for what it was.
Well,
Everyone
it was
loved
it was like a rail shooter, but like you didn't shoot them because that'd be mean.
Hey, it took
But,
photos.
like took photos, and like there was different shit you could do. Like you could throw apples and you could throw rocks at them and get them to do stuff. Like you had to get a photo of a Voltorb exploding, and so you'd like peg a rock at it and be like, "Oh fuck you," and then it'd explode. And
So
then you'd
this
have a
was
photo of
actually
that.
made by HAL Laboratory. And the creative thing at the time was you could take your cartridge, like a Toys R Us that had the booth,
Mm.
the Pokemon pod, and you plug it in, you could print your photos.
Huh.
Which was really cool.
I
You
did
could
not
print them as
know that.
stickers. Yeah, put them as little stickers. We had them at the Toys R Us at Aspley.
Oh yeah, I remember that Toys R Us. I don't know. I suppose it was a little bit. I don't think we owned Pokemon Snap. I think we just rented it. So it was like, oh yeah, it's not really a Pokemon.
You could go to the machine and print like a sample,
Huh.
which I'd do every time. Like, fucking why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
What was the sample Pokemon? Was it an Executor? I'd
that
hope
just
it was
a
an
bunch of different
Executor.
snaps. Then
Like my favorite Pokemon because it's dumb as fuck.
Stadium hit in Japan in 1999. We didn't get it till 2000. This was pretty big. In Japan, it actually had 3 releases.
Huh.
The first one was a prototype version for competitive battlers to show off
Yeah.
on the tours and stuff in Japan. And it got re-refined for the re-release stuff because the first issue was busted. Like, the second, because it followed the Game Boy, and the Game Boy code was complete busted and stuff for certain moves and stuff. It wasn't meant to be competitive.
Yeah, it was just
So
fuck you.
the one we got and the second one they got was a rebalanced version that fixed a lot of the issues from the Game Boy.
You couldn't just have cheat builds.
Yeah, you still could. It was still pretty broken, but more
Still
refined
broken,
bugs
just
and
not
stuff
fucked.
were caught.
It's not fucked.
Exactly. So Pokemon Stadium was a big deal. Again, developed by HAL and Nintendo because it had with the transfer. You could plug your cartridge in, transfer your Pokemon to it, you play and receive gift Pokemon rewards and stuff for playing the game. You could actually unlock an emulator to play on TV.
My God.
And you could do it at like 2 times, 4 times, and like 6 times speed. I don't know if it was that good. It might have been just 2 times or 4 times. But still, that was really impressive back in the day.
Yeah.
To play your real game at that speed. And it had mini games and it felt like you were rewarded for playing the game. All your hard work and your Pokemon were brought around and you could interact with it.
Mini games like Ekans' Hoop Hut. The goal is to toss a curved Ekans over Diglets.
Those games fucking rock. They're really good. They're just really good mini party
Clefairy
games.
says,
Yeah, dude.
Rock Harden.
I liked Rock Harden. It's one of my favorites.
Sushi Garage. Snow War.
So all this time while these have been releasing, we've been building up to Pokemon Gold and Silver. This was Gen 2. Now, this was big. I first played this with the cartridge my parents brought back from Thailand that was very poorly translated.
That is great. I love you getting the weird Thai ladyboy Pokemon games.
Now, I want to remind you, back in this day, the internet, like,
it was there, but it was different.
super, super early.
I
didn't have it. I wasn't on it.
No, I did, and you got to imagine like you couldn't type a sentence into Google. Like you needed to know almost what you were looking for to look for it. So finding stuff was weird.
And the thing is, you look at the release dates; it's so far
in
behind.
the year 2000.
So you're hearing all this information come back from Japan, just trickling through
Stuff
different
filter
sources
through,
and magazines, and it's driving you nuts waiting. So this drops, and it's big. It's a whole new world. You finish the game, and you go back to original Kanto, the original fucking whole area, do the whole gyms there again.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Game Boy game.
Oh, yeah, wasn't that the one Iwata worked on and was like some kind of fucking Time Lord of compression software? So we're like, I gotta fit the whole first game in.
I honestly wouldn't be able to tell you. I don't know much about the developments. Yeah, it was very big. The story was in depth. The world was very well built. It introduced, I think, phones.
Hmm?
Trainers would give you their phone numbers. They'd
Yeah.
call and talk to you. I think that was in this
You
one.
could like send him a dick pic.
Yeah. So you got a Pokegear, which functioned as a watch, a map, radio, and phone.
God.
Yeah, it was. And so trainers would call to ask for rematches for you.
Hmm.
It just added to the world. That's an immersion feature.
Yeah, there's also some post game stuff.
That's really cool. So yeah, I didn't get that one because I got the cheap Thailand version. I'm a kid. I can't afford games.
You can afford weird Thai Pokemon.
I remember being in my hometown of Glen Innes, and then I was in Newcastle visiting my mum's parents.
Where the fuck is Glen Anus?
It's rural New South Wales.
Ugh.
Anyway, we're in Newcastle, and we didn't know when this Pokemon Crystal was coming out. We just heard rumors and stuff, and I pestered the store for like the 2 days I was there, and they're like, we don't have it, we don't have it.
Fuck
And
off,
on the final
kid.
day, it was like an hour before I had to leave, and they fucking had it. And I got it. And Pokemon Crystal was a refined gold and silver, except it added more story in and animations to the Pokemon. So the Pokemon's moved like in animation when battle and stuff. They weren't much. They were just little wiggles
it was
and
a
twitches,
wobble.
but that was huge.
Holy fuck! You live near a place called Dundee.
Yep.
Bald Knob.
Yep. I love driving through Bald Knob. So Pokemon Crystal was huge. In Japan as well, it actually linked up to your cell phones. And they had a cell phone system. So again, pretty ahead of its time.
That's nuts.
So that was in 2000 in Japan, 2001 in Australia. Pokemon Stadium 2 got released, which was a successor to Pokemon Stadium, more of the same. Minigames and stuff, all that sort of good stuff. Not as well received as the first, in my opinion. The minigame stuff didn't have the same sort of staying power stuff. The graphics and everything, upgrades and everything were nice.
Well, wasn't there like it doesn't have like an RPG section to it, does it? It's just battling.
No. Just battling, yes. So then we jumped to the Game Boy Advance with Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire in 2002 and Australia in 2003.
Imagine that, like, think about that, you fucking little shits at home. Imagine, like, knowing that the game is having to wait a year. Like, what happens? Oh, the game will be out in a year.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Yakuza games are like that. Is like, they have to translate, like, 1,000 hours of Japanese soap opera into English.
Yeah.
But, like...
It's just like, they've got it over there.
They got it over there. Yeah, a whole year. Yeah, when do we get that? Yeah, fucking sit down, champ. You get it in a year.
Yeah. So this came out, was a big jump. Obviously, big, beautiful colored sprites. Did this one introduce?
Helmets.
Oh, that's right. It had secret bases. So there was points in the map you could burrow into and set up like your little secret base. You know, you'd earn cosmetics over the story and stuff. And your friends could visit you in the bases with the Game Boy links and stuff. See your stuff and that sort of stuff. So it also had the e-reader support.
Oh, yeah, that thing. That was the card swiper, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Fuck, you forget the wild shit that Nintendo would just make and then sort of forget about almost straight away. It's probably just for Japan. They probably had loads of shit that supported in Japan. Yeah.
So then we moved on to the GameCube. These were different. These were not essentially mainline games. These were developed by a developer called Genius Sonority?
Is it Sonority or Sorority?
Sonority.
Weird.
Yeah.
It is Sonority. What the fuck?
This was very different. This released in 2003 in Japan, 2004 elsewhere. And it started with a more mature character. You were a villain. And you worked for this organization that stole Pokemon. And
Team Pocket.
You basically rebel, steal the Snag'em machine, which is attached to your arm.
Isn't this like the plot of like 3 Star Wars games?
Pretty much. Blow up the facility, then you go around stealing the Pokemon back. It was a bit different. You know, it was a big fan favorite because it obviously graphically looked very nice. And it was different for a Pokemon game. Still using the Pokemon battling engine.
I was going to say that is, yeah. I'm legitimately impressed.
And it had characters like this.
Bonk Chobo.
I don't know why that didn't.
Beef Thunder. Blitz Tam Tam.
Like, look at that guy, the afro. Like the
character
designs.
I know, yeah, this is very tiny. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah,
There's a guy with an
it's
afro.
hard to say. Yeah, that was different. Then we started getting the remakes. So 2004, and this was the first, 2004, everywhere.
Woo!
Still months apart, but still everywhere, same year.
I think we get it before the EU. Fuck you, Europe. Suck shit.
Yeah, because we're only English.
Yeah.
We're so easy.
I know.
So it was enhanced remakes of the original. These were huge. This was huge. The game just... It was everything you wanted. It was like everything you remembered. It was so fresh, and it looked gorgeous. You're like, these sprites look beautiful. You know, pretty sure they had little animations. I can't remember if it had much endgame. I can't remember much on that. But it also had a wireless adapter. Came with a wireless adapter.
Huh.
So it allowed you to play wirelessly. You didn't need the Game Boy Link cables anymore.
Nice.
That was considerably big. In between that, we had Pokemon Emerald, which was in 2005 in our countries, 2004, the advanced version of Ruby and Sapphire. Now this was huge. This added a lot of post-game content. This was one of the first Pokemon games to really have post-game.
Which is like the best one.
So,
Because if I want to sit down and it's like, okay, I want to play what I'd consider a good, like for me as a person who enjoys playing a game that's got some meat and potatoes to it, a rich, hearty stew, Aaron.
I would recommend overall Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Okay.
Those are just insane. I think the guy who directed it was quoted in an interview. They said, blah, 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 son. I can't remember his name. I'm very sorry.
Titty Asia China Chop Chop.
I did not say that. You said
Yes, you
that.
did.
Don't put words in my mouth.
All right, so Jappy Chop Chop said...
So, shut up. He said, they asked him, they said, are you sure you're putting so much in? This is lunacy.
Yeah.
And he was like...
More!
Yeah. Like,
I want the cartridge so fat it needs its own adapter.
yeah, this...
It's a full-sized hard drive with a plug that goes into the Game Boy
had a big
Advance.
post game. So, it was huge for the time. It added in, like, battles from previous gens and stuff, like tournaments and stuff, and just lots of post stuff like legendary chases and things. Just it's very, very full.
There's a Pokemon contest where they can win different categories like cool, beauty, cute, smart, and tough.
So each iteration, you're noticing they're adding just
I think
features.
I'd nominate for cute and tough, but I wouldn't.
Genius Sonority were back at again with Pokemon XD.
That's
Gale of Darkness. I don't know why XD.
It's sister game Pokemon XD, Helen of Nightmares.
So this game had shadow Pokemon. You had to capture them and purify them.
That was during that period where Nintendo was just batshit for fucking every Nintendo. It was like illegal. Every Nintendo game had to have a shadow realm or a shadow fucking corrupting you.
Now, all these games had link functionality. So they'd give you Pokemon unique to these games that either had moves or things that you couldn't usually get on that Pokemon.
Right, and then you'd be able to give you... So what would the link do? I could take my shit to this, or I could take shit I get to this to one or the other?
You'd take shit back. You'd earn stuff by playing this game.
Okay, and where would I put that stuff?
So it'd come back to your Game Boy game.
Okay, which Game Boy game would this one sync up with?
This one at the time was...
Pokemon Karate and Pokemon Muay Thai. Probably whatever the one was contemporaneous to it.
I can't remember.
Yeah, Pokemon Emerald butt plug.
We had a branch here with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Now, these were basically family-friendly, hardcore Japanese dungeon crawlers.
That's weird.
They were dungeon crawlers with Pokemon characters, and you
the player
were
assumes the
Pokemon.
role of a Pokemon that was transformed from a human. Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
So, it was different. You played the Pokemon.
Right.
It was a dungeon crawler.
Okay.
And they were very successful in their own right. Diamond and Pearl were a big jump again. This was to the DS. I remember importing these because the Japanese versions had English language on them.
So this is the one I should play? No, I'm
no.
playing Heart Thumper
Heart
and
Gold.
Beef Shield. Oh, okay.
So this was in 2007, you can see, June.
Yeah.
Australia. We imported it because September 2006.
Yeah,
So
that's like
all of
almost
us-
a year.
All of us, because we were quite young, went in for shipping and stuff together, and I got this back. And this was a big upgrade. Obviously, the engine, graphics engine and thing were new.
Stuff looked like stuff.
Yeah, so Pokemon kept progressing. Each time they keep adding more and more Pokemon. 107 new Pokemon were added to this one. I think we're sitting at 493 here.
It's nuts that it's not a round number. Like, I know that's just like my fucking undiagnosed autism shining
Usually
through.
it wasn't a round number, but there was hidden ones that were like added into events and stuff.
Sneaky little bitches.
Battle Revolution then came out. In the meantime, this hooked up to your DS console with your Wii wirelessly, which was a big deal, and allowed you to Pokemon and play. I'm just going to show a little footage here because the game this was on the Wii. Look at the animations and stuff. Like, there's still the 64 models sort of up-resed a bit.
All right, Venusaur just got fucked. Go, Chud Monkey.
But just, these are the fainting animations.
He's exposing
right?
himself.
They're very animated. What else we got? Where's the...
Oh, friend, not. Take that, you stupid turtle. What are some moves?
Yeah, so...
What are some moves? Where's Suplex? Show me something
won't
karate.
see things like that.
God damn it. Waste. Alright. Go, Clum Dump. Used Clam Slam.
So, just you saw how the camera panned away, so it still looks like it hits.
Yeah.
Just the way they do certain things in animations.
It splashes the screen. Up. Chew. That's a tiny little thing that's getting the shit kicked out of it. I mean, you're hitting fucking fire things. Isn't that illegal? Like, can't you kill Pokemon like that? What's the rule about just Pokemon to the death? That's pretty cool. That's just unnecessary roughness. That's a head-to-head fucking, you know. Head-to-head. You're not allowed to just spear tackle there.
Quite gorgeous. Never really seen Pokemon in that sort of setting before.
Yeah.
Like,
where they look like they're doing the things they're doing and not just
like
nudging at each other by about two fucking millimeters.
Exactly.
For this Game Boy game.
So very cool. Pokemon Platinum came out. This is another one that's regarded very good to play. Very well rounded. Okay. So Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Pokemon Platinum, and Black and White 2.
Have we gotten to Heart Gold yet?
No.
I don't think we have.
That's the next one.
Okay.
So Platinum was a refined version again of Diamond and Pearl.
All right. Is it Diamond and Pearl at the same time?
Pretty much, yes.
Right, okay.
So at this time, you can see they're releasing 2, 1, 2, 1. You need the 2 to get all the Pokemon in that version. Then the 1 comes out and you can catch all those Pokemon. So the people who just want to wait can usually get a better version. Unless you're like me and everyone else who's a Pokemon mega fan and just wants to play it.
Needs
exactly.
Pokies.
Exactly. But Pokemon Platinum was big. It added Wi-Fi. Sorry. Diamond and Pearl added online trading.
Right,
which was pretty big.
Okay. What would trading do? Because can't you just get them in the game? Like, you just go, I want that fucker. Like, if I didn't have, I don't know, Grumble Bum or whatever, and, what would motivate me to trade as opposed to just going out into the grass and picking the cunt up?
You could go to the global trade system and go, I want Grumble Bum.
Okay.
I'm willing to give you this.
All right.
And then you fuck off out into the world and you'll get a notification if someone,
Oh, okay. So you could just have a Gumtree Swapsies ad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So quite big.
Yeah.
Because, you just put up trash in the hopes of
someone,
I want a Weedle for a Charizard.
Yeah, no, I was going
sometimes someone will click it by accident.
Indian people on Gumtree. Hello, I would like to offer 100. Fuck off. It's always Indian dudes for some reason. I don't know why.
So yeah, that was quite big. That was in 2008 in Japan, 2009 elsewhere. Then Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which were remakes of Silver and Gold.
Right, so this is the one that's like, okay, you want to sit down and play a goddamn Pokemon game.
Yeah.
All right.
It allows the first Pokemon in the player's party to follow them.
Does this have its own version of where they're smushed together? Like the other one had Pokemon Platinum that was Diamond and Pearl. Does Heart Gold and Soul Silver have Giga Emotion Platinum?
No, but it doesn't matter. It just changes the order you receive the legendaries in.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's a few different version exclusives and stuff, but you're not playing to completion. It doesn't fucking matter.
Okay.
So yeah, Pokemon followed you again, which hadn't been seen since Pokemon Yellow.
It's like because that to me is like
it
the
was,
fucking
it was used in limited fashion. In older ones, like when you were in certain parks area with huge
Yeah.
Pokemon. So yeah, it introduced the Pokeathlon, which used the touchscreen and do hurdles and stuff. The Japanese versions had the slot machines. We got them taken out. Got a new game called Voltov Flip. Like cross
Just
between
two up.
Minesweeper
They
and
banned that in
Picross.
Australia, except for in Australia, to
Yeah.
people would lose their baby's milk money fucking flipping 2 coins in the
You
air.
could also swap between the original 8-bit music from the original and like the new remix one too. This is how it is. Yeah, very very big. It also came with a little poker walker.
Oh,
It
I
was a
remember that
little
thing. Yeah,
odometer thing. You put a Pokemon in there and walk with it.
and it gets EXP.
Yeah, cool. Um, then in
Black.
2010 and 11, Pokemon Black and White. These ones were hail. These ones have more sort of story based. And they started throwing out more huge sort of 3D environments, making them look more impressive and stuff.
Neat.
Um, it used IR to do battling, trading, and stuff. Um, video chat. You could had a Wi-Fi sync, and you could like pass by people with Wi-Fi and infrared and DS and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, I remember that. Because my housemate had his thing say Jews did 9/11 or some shit.
No, this was before that.
Okay.
Um, this was on the DS, not the 3DS.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. That was the 3DS's tickle thing
Yeah,
when the Nintendo made it just so anyone could molest you.
so this one was modeled sort of after New York,
Neat.
which until now they've been modeled on Japan, really,
Yeah.
most of them. So all of them actually. That was kind of cool to see. I don't have much memory of that one. That one's one I've played probably a little least of, including the sequel. I played a bit more of that. This is another very full one that has a very after you beat the story, it just keeps going. There's more end game and stuff, and it feel like we're just growing over time with the technology, and it feels good. Growing with Pokemon. X and Y was the first 3DS games. Upgraded the engine, upgraded the things. Introduced Mega Pokemon, which were in battle evolution that you could trigger once per battle.
Oh yeah,
And
isn't that basically what Digimon was doing like 20 years ago?
Sort of. But it was really good because it brought new life to a lot of Pokemon that weren't the greatest. It could give them,
Executor.
bring them back and stuff. And like, Mega Beedrill saw some play and things like that.
I'm gonna look up Mega
So-
Beedrill. What does Mega Beedrill look like? Although when you say it like that, it sounds kind of like, a medicine.
Like there was Mega
I take
Blastoise.
Mega Beedrill, and now I can ride a horse again.
And Mega Blastoise got a third cannon on the top.
Okay,
He had like wrist cannons, I think.
sweet.
Yeah, he was pretty sick. Like it was a good idea. It was pretty fun. I played a lot of those. I played competitively a bit with those too. I'd been playing competitively on and off, mainly at the Nintendo tournaments that they've been having over the years and stuff.
Have you ever had to just slam a kid?
Yes, I nearly taunted the shit out of him too. And I had to
Because
remember
you just
where I
you
was.
just forget.
Yeah.
That's
Ross.
funny. It's fucking funny.
So shortly after this, Pokemon Bank came out, 2013. Pokemon Bank was an app for the 3DS, and it was a paid service. It cost $6.50 in Australia for a year, and this was a Pokemon storage. So
Bank.
it allowed you to store your Pokemon in the cloud, and it allowed you to bring Pokemon from old gens into the new ones.
Oh, okay.
So they essentially were like, yeah, you've been on this journey with us. If you've been playing all this time, we want you a way to bring all your Pokemon with you. And it's like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, that's awesome. Pokemon that are holding items can't be transferred in, obviously, because items don't exist across certain versions, so you don't want certain things like that.
Glitch everything out.
Can't trade back, stuff like that. Certain restrictions. There was event distributions as well through them and stuff like that. Then we got the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire series in 2014. This was
Jesus.
a remake of Ruby and Sapphire. Very good, very girthy.
I'm noticing a pattern of remakes.
Yes. So, like, it looked beautiful. Like, it looked gorgeous.
So is that probably one of the more common elements of the remake? Is they'd do it, but then they do it with whatever the most recent graphics engine was,
Sorta,
and so
yeah.
you'd get like this old game, but then it was spruced up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they usually really quality of life the shit out of it. And it feels, you never feel ripped off playing it, in my opinion. I always feel very justified paying for it and playing through. It takes my memory and just adds to it, in my opinion.
There is a solid argument to be made. I don't think there's an argument to be made that it damages the creative space in any way, shape, or form. But there is, remakes can be cash-ins. But also, I think particularly video games are ripe for remaking, considering the kind of significant changes that technological upgrades can actually make to how the game functions at a raw level.
Now, I'm going to tell you the biggest, most important reasons these remakes happen, especially for the Pokemon series, is at this point in time, Pokemon is existing as a game for everyone. It's a game, for children who love the anime and all that sort of
Children
stuff.
that Aaron dick slams!
Yep, those two.
I would love to be there for that. Next time, I know there's going to be another time at some point. I want to go along.
100%. But they've got masters and juniors now. So
see, that's good. That's sensible.
I mean,
as fun as it is to make children cry.
Yeah. So there's a competitive scene as well.
Yeah.
There's
is the competitive scene of the Pokemon games something that's required, the Smash rules, where it's like, this is banned?
There's certain bannings in the game, but the game is pretty liberal with that. Like, it's obviously hard, rules like certain legendaries would be hard banned and stuff like that.
Right, because they're designed to be broken in the game. Right, okay. So there are just things it's like playing Akuma in Super Turbo.
Pretty much,
it's just it's banned because he's almost literally cheating.
Yeah, the game won't, if you go to an online lobby and try to queue, it's like, you've got this party, you can't.
Get the fuck out, you fucking cheater. And seriously, too, Super Turbo Akuma breaks the game. He's a cheat.
Every time you connect to the online plaza, it would actually download the new rule set if it was available.
Oh, okay.
So it was flexible. Cool. They could change it, stuff like that.
So they did something, they had a rule set, not just...
So the main reason for the remakes is you got to remember as well, nearly every iteration of a new mainline title, so like Black, that's a new mainline title, they're adding Pokemon.
Yeah.
So this number is astronomical growing. With the remake, you give a stop chance to breathe for the creativity of new Mon. You also give a chance to balance features and old Mon, and you also give people who are coming into Pokemon a chance to get them. Because if they hadn't played these previous generations on a thing no longer available to them, how would they get them?
Yeah.
And that's the thing is because in competitive Pokemon, to get certain moves, you need a breed, chain breed to get a move that's only available on that mother to this son.
Root so you can punch harder.
Yeah, pretty much. Because you got to breed on moves. Now,
Gabriel, tongue punch your fart button.
2016, I see this as a very big downturn. This did a few things. The engine changed.
This was the most recent 3DS one before just the current, wasn't it?
Second most. All right. The engine changed. It was a little more free looking. It looked more like an adventure game, right?
Right, yeah.
But it was still very closed off. It was very hard, jagged spaces you couldn't go.
Yeah.
It did away with the traditional Pokemon formula of gyms and introduced totem challenges, which were, creative. And I think
what is a totem challenge?
Cool. Like the first one, you needed to take photos and scare Pokemon out of a certain areas to take photos and stuff. Like
that feels like something I'd do to get access to a gym. You know what I mean?
And that's what the latest iterations do. That's what I was about to say. They took away the core aspect of the Pokemon game, which is battling,
to
have this totem battles. And they were just, the game just was a fair department of what I've seen. It seemed very juvenile, childish. It also introduced very weird concept like Ultra Beasts, which were Pokemon from different dimensions that they open warp gates to and stuff. And the designs of them were very Digimon. They were very not Pokemon looking.
Yeah. Show me an Ultra Beast. Bring up Ultra fucking... Oh, is that the muscly fucking mosquito?
Yeah.
He is fucking Guzzlord. It was one called Guzzlord. Guzzlord.
So these are the Ultra Beasts.
All right.
So they just, I don't know.
Some of them
like
look
their
Pokemon.
designs.
I see what you mean about some of them. Like, I mean, the Lady Mantis thing down the bottom there.
Like this
The
thing,
top one
bottom
just
right,
looks like a fan.
bottom right. That looks like a Pokemon. You know, that looks like a Digimon.
Oh, swole.
That looks like a Digimon. That looks like a Digimon. That looks like a Pokemon.
Yeah, it looks like a Pokemon.
That's cross. That's half. Take it or
Just
leave it.
someone's weird persona.
That's a Pokemon. I can see that. That's half again.
That top right thing looks like someone's missile array.
I used that a lot. It
what
was
is
bullshit.
Remember, nothing will stop Aaron finding the fucky bullshit.
Oh, dude, no, everyone does. Trust me. Pokemon community is in it together. We show each other off. It's like, look at this shit. It's fucked. Yeah, let's all use this. Yeah. Just 'cause it just becomes a meta, then everyone runs it. And then someone will break that meta. That's the great thing about Pokemon. Sometimes people will break meta in very unexpected ways.
That's fun. Well, it was like someone, my housemate was telling me, like, one of the lowest tier characters in Tekken was Panda. He's dumb, like in the Tekken 7, right? And I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. And then he's like, so no one played him, so no one knew the matchup. So someone went around fucking working out Panda Tech and won a fucking major with Panda. And then suddenly everyone has to go, oh, fuck, and had to go do Panda training to learn how to deal with fucking Panda.
Yeah.
That's fun. See, I don't mind strong meta as long as something can come along and just be like, and force, like everyone just sit back, oh shit. Do you have any memories of that? Like, do you have any?
Up until this point of what hard meta shifts?
Yeah. Like, I'm kind of curious of what a good example of like, okay, everyone was doing X,
There's a Pokemon
and then along comes fucking Larry.
There's a Pokemon called Pachirisu or something, and it's a little sort of Pikachu ripoff mouse thing, and it was just.
Oh yeah, I think I already know the thing you're talking about. And I remember seeing it just going, oh, they're just doing Pikachu again with a little ball on his tail.
Yeah, and it just the dude was. I can't remember the details, but you can just Google it, and he's doing just swept people with unsurprising ways. Anyway, Megas was still in, and they introduced Z moves in this. Now, Pokemon could hold a certain crystal, which would unlock a Z move, which is a very powerful move it could do, and it would fuck shit up.
Right.
So, the problem when you're playing competitive Pokemon, you have a few assets you have to see.
Right.
When you boot up a game, you see your opponent's Pokemon, you see your Pokemon. You don't see the moves or anything. You just see what they have.
Yeah, what they grew up, right.
You don't know what order they've chosen, but you know what they've got. If it's singles, no wait, sorry, it's doubles. So you use two at once, and you choose. I think it's 3 or 4, one of the two. Of those Pokemon. So it's limited. So there's not all those Pokemon are coming in. So it's a mind game as well of knowing what they're going to choose versus you, knowing the matches up and everything like that. Then what a Z move does, lordy. So switching in Pokemon is very common. Switch-ins, switch-outs. Having a Pokemon that's very tanky that you can switch in to is
take a
very
hit.
good. Yeah, so you can, set up and stuff. A Z move basically is just a steroid move that even if it's ineffective, it's going to do a chunk of damage. So if it's a super effective switch-in and stuff, it can just not knowing if that's the Pokemon holding the thing, if there are multiple Pokemon that can.
So
can
you'll
use Z
know
moves
that
and
someone's
stuff.
got a Z move. We won't know which one.
Well,
they're gonna
everyone
fucking-
will be running one because it's pretty much required. Like it's so powerful.
Okay.
So thing like that, and I don't like that because it just adds more RNG and more guessing, and it takes a bit out of the things like that.
It's the 50-50 mix-up. Just it's there, you don't know what ones. You just got.
So I wasn't very fond of this. I still played competitively for a little bit, but not long. I didn't even finish the game. That's how I didn't care for it.
Was that the one with the really tall executor?
Yes. I love the designs. The designs are very good for a lot of the Alolan forms and stuff like that. I just didn't like the Ultra Beast. Ultra Sun and Moon came out. I know absolutely dick about this one because I just hated the previous one. Why would I buy this? So it added new Ultra Beasts.
Ska and Blackception.
New forms for some things. yeah, I don't know too much about that one. Then we had Let's Go, which was a
First
very
one, but like fiddled
beautiful
around.
homage to Red and Blue for a new audience with some a cross between battling and the touchscreen controls. No, very lovely.
We played that one, didn't we?
Music beautiful, looks gorgeous. Very makes it very positive. Oh, I can't wait for the
Yeah.
evolution. Sword and Shield.
Right.
Now,
I don't know
Sword and
anything about
Shield-
this much beyond people are angry on the internet, which is always interesting to watch.
So, where to begin? It is such a sordid tale of debauchery and everything. So, Pokemon Sword and Shield were told a few years back at E3. You probably remember they said, "We're making a new Pokemon game. Please be patient. We'll tell you as soon as we can more."
Right. Yeah.
So we knew one was coming, waiting. Then we got Let's Go. Everyone was like, "Oh, that's bullshit." Then they went, "No.
The other one's actually
the other
coming,
one's coming." It's a, don't worry. And it's like, "Oh, okay." They showed off Sword and Shield and didn't look up to scratch. Graphics were a bit worrying and things like that. And people were like, "Oh, no, it's just pre-release." And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay. And keeps going. And, graphics are getting better. Animations are getting better, but it's still not on par. So it hits a point basically a week and a half before the game's supposed to come out. The game leaks. And people are streaming it. People are showing it off online. And
how did it leak? Were the copies already?
It would have been a mum and pop shop that sold it, and then someone would have uploaded it. And then, yeah. A lot of people would have had cartridges they got early. A lot of people would have pirated it. There's methods.
So, like, the cartridges were already sent out into the world. Right. Okay.
They go out. Traditionally,
like somebody from
Nintendo stuff goes out week and a half early.
Right. Okay.
It's usually, though, it's Nintendo. It's threat of death.
Yeah.
Don't fucking touch that shit. Like,
you gotta wonder who fucking. Because, can't they find that?
It's hard in factories and shit. Like, it depends what they do. Like, the people who make a career of it know what they're doing.
Yeah. I suppose. So, like.
So.
Okay, because, just, you mentioned graphics, and I wanted to bring this up because my knowledge of them has always been from a handheld perspective.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
It's hard for me to tell. When I look at, like, Sword and Shield, I just look at that and think, that's what a Pokemon game looks like, because my understanding of them is all just handhelds.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, I have no basis for understanding whether the graphics are good or bad.
I'll break it down. Graphics, I think, is a little one of the weaker points that I don't really consider a deal breaker for me, I say. Before this came out, we were told we're not getting all the Pokemon.
Gotta catch a few. Gotta catch a few.
First time ever, apart from, Let's Go, but that wasn't a mainline game. That a mainline Pokemon game hasn't had the ability to have every Pokemon in the game. Doesn't matter from other sources or whatever. Doesn't matter where you get them, but all in the game. And it was a very sort of baffling decision. Then it was like, kind of like, why? And it's like, well, we want to make better quality animations, better models. We have to rebuild all the models from scratch in this. So,
like,
please understand. It's like,
again,
okay, sure.
Even from my perspective as someone who doesn't, keep track of all this or really even give that much of a shit about the Switch, that sounds like bullshit.
Well, it's the thing is, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt, because the thing is, they've never done a console game. So it's like they could be in our heads. That's the thing is, dude, don't think of it as it looks now.
Oh no,
just think of it as there was a blank slate there. So we're not knowing what's happening.
Yeah, I know. I'm just even then, like I said, from my perspective, it just feels like a weird thing to say.
Honestly, dude, if they cut all those Pokemon and the models had collisions, beams singeing and stuff like that, I'd be happy.
I hear that they don't make console games much, and it's like, what does that mean, really? It's
they don't make console games at all. This is
I know, but I mean, like, what's the meaningful difference in development?
So what that means from my
'Cause especially from
my
like
perspective,
what the Switch ultimately is. Like they've been working with Nintendo for how long now? Like they've got to like it's just really odd to me that a company that makes games would go.
you're jumping way ahead.
All
Way
right.
ahead. We haven't discussed any of this. This is discussion for after what. Gotta lay out the problems and the foundations first, then we talk about that because you're getting to endpoints. Because that's ultimately management and stuff and down the track. We need to talk about the issues with the game.
All right.
So we hear this and we're like, okay, all right, sure. Game hits. Animations are dog shit.
That much I do know.
They're not there. Like, there's a
Well,
curry
aren't there-
making mini game.
Yeah. Aren't there
make curry-
prior games that have good animations? Because I swear I've seen like GIFs and shit online.
As I said, the Battle Revolution and stuff,
Yeah.
the Switch, that sort of stuff, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wii stuff. The curry cooking minigame, you're supposed to cook and eat curry with your Pokemon partners. And
Is it just curry?
you
Is that the
show-
only thing you're allowed to make?
Well, you make different sorts of curry.
Yeah, but still, like it's all curry.
It's only curry, yes.
That's fucking insane. That's such
So
a
anyway.
weird thing.
That's actually one of the high points of the game. Anyway, so when you finish making the curry, your character goes like this. She brings the spoon to her mouth, takes a gentle sip, gets really surprised by the taste, and then wolfs it down. And your Pokemon, cheers, doesn't eat, doesn't do anything. It's just, and then it moves its mouth up and down, and it's like, no. So
I just know again, as an outsider, I know that it makes more sense to you, but to me, there's just a game where you could cook and eat food in front of an animal that's excited for you about
yeah, exactly.
this. Because weren't there games where you could like feed and rub your Pokemon?
Yeah.
You like tickle his chin and
So you
give
can
him a
still play
chocolate or
with
some
them.
shit?
So
Okay.
in the camping section, all your Pokemon come out in your party and you can throw balls to them and stuff.
Yeah,
All
that
parts are
sounds-
the best. Because again, quality animations. The Pokemon runs over to it, or rather ambles weirdly to it.
toddles.
Like moves at it. A Pokemon like Colossus, which is, the Titan.
Oh, is that the
in
big dude
Hercules?
with the two
Yeah.
big things?
the ball
He's got like those
appears.
big concrete things that he's
Yeah.
holding all the time.
No, that's a different one anyway.
Okay. I get them
He's
all
a big
wrong.
towering coal monster.
Okay.
It just appears on the top of his coal stack, very top of his head, just goes shoop. Because there's no animation, obviously, of him picking it up. No, they don't. There's no animation. It's like how Blastoise. There's a guy on the Pokemon subreddit who lost his fucking mind because he's like, I've been with this game forever. Blastoise is my favorite Pokemon. I've got like 13 Blastoise figures, which
I married
are
a
super
Blastoise.
fucking rare. And blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and he goes, the thing that's always bothered him is Blastoise has never shot water out of his cannons.
Yeah.
He's always shot it out of his fucking mouth.
And he did in the cartoon.
And they brought out a Pokedex 3D app for the 3DS with its AR thing, and it allowed you to just view all the Pokemon and animated stuff, and the Blastoise and that shot out of his cannons.
That's
and he was
wild.
like, oh, he got really excited.
Yeah.
Then nope, not from there, no. But he was expecting maybe this game, maybe he's one ray of hope that maybe Blastoise, and Blastoise isn't even in the fucking
I was
game.
gonna say, yeah, like, because from what I understand, he wasn't in the fucking
So
the thing.
it's just, it keeps getting worse. And
So they said that they were cutting the Pokemon to make room for better animations, and the
And models.
animations are butthole.
and their butthole. And so all the modding circle are hacking these apart. The modding circle for this game are nuts. These people are nuts.
Is
I
there
wanna
a good
reiterate that.
Pokemod like that might tickle my fancy?
There's, yeah.
Okay, I might look.
We're actually going to play through one from the show.
Oh, okay.
Found one recently that's apparently amazing.
Sounds good.
So
It's not one where they're all teenage girls again, is it?
No.
Okay, good.
that's fun for a laugh. What was I saying? God damn it, you distracted me with teenage girls. New Pokemon animations. All right. So the models are hacking it apart, and they're looking at the models, and they dig deep, and they import the models and deconstruct them and everything. Oh, shock horror! They're reused from Sun and Moon. So they didn't make new models. They didn't think. And so at this time, hashtag,
Oh, is that why when people were saying, yeah,
Hashtag Game Freak lied.
Yeah.
Now, while this whole commotion is going on, the game's not even out yet to start. Japan has not been informed the Pokemon have been cut.
How did
Until
they
this-
not find out?
Because they
No
never
one,
told
no
them.
one, no one tells
They
it.
didn't tell them.
Nobody tells
They didn't
Japan.
tell them. They're only a few clued on people who obviously look at the Western culture and stuff found out and they started spreading it.
Yeah.
And Japan lost its shit and they started trending hashtag fuck you Game Freak. And
wow, that's harsh for Japan.
the best part was this was 2 days after hashtag thank you Game Freak was trending.
That's funny.
Because they were having low morale. And so already the game's having a lot of controversy and stuff. Now, the problem for me with this game, because at the end of the day, anyone who picks it up, it looks nice enough to be a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
It plays nice enough to be a Pokemon game. Look at the charm and all this stuff. But I'm gonna
There's
delve
Wooloos.
I'm gonna delve a bit deeper into why supporting this Pokemon and not speaking out about it is very dangerous for the future of this series. Now, so we're sitting in 2019.
Uh-huh.
When was this series released?
1996.
All right.
You didn't tell me there was going to be tests, Aaron.
How many years difference is that?
23.
All right. So 23 years. A lot of us have been
that
playing
is
this
nuts
game.
when you think about it. Yeah, because you were like,
what?
You were
the
10.
franchise. Yeah, 10 when I started. 31 now.
Madness.
So the amount of people that stuck with this, the amount of lengths that we've gone through, that we've kept our Pokemon.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's important. To now. Now, we lost over half the Pokemon.
More than half seems aggressive.
And
like, I figured they'd do like a data cull and see which ones people used least or something.
now, look, I have no problem with cutting Pokemon. But again, they lied for the reasons. That's a big flag.
I mean, wouldn't there be like, isn't there like regional variations that are supposed to be like some Pokemon don't show up in certain places? Like,
again, there's
well, I mean, again, if there were lore reasons for it and it seemed to be a structured thing as opposed to like, well, again, they lied. They said that like fucking it was to fit in better.
If they did better animations,
did they not think people were going to notice? Like, what an odd thing to do.
Now, this is where the plot thickens. Because not only did they cut Pokemon, they cut moves, Gabriel. Pokemon moves. They cut 110 moves. Now,
that's weird.
Some of these moves like Karate Chop, Double Slap, Comet Punch, Razor Wind.
I mean, really,
kick,
aren't half of these things just
Sonic Boom?
Not even animations. Like
Egg Bomb. Now, some of these are signature moves. That's the thing. You know, Egg Bomb can only be learned by Pokemon with eggs, like, you know, Executor, Chansey, things like that. And it's just like
something gonna ovulate all over you. Is Chansey even in the game?
Like
Flame Burst, Buzzy Bust.
They got rid of a few really
Pika
big ones.
Papow.
Like Hidden Power. Now, Hidden Power was a very important thing for competitive because it took on, depending on the spread of
there's one called Water
stats,
Sport.
The hidden stats on your Pokemon
Yeah.
changed the type of that move. So it allowed essentially Pokemon who could learn that move to have a check against a weakness.
Okay.
So very strong. So Japan
I'm the Egg Bomb.
starts learning about these. I'm going to show you the Japan translation reaction thread because that's a fucking treat.
Oh yeah, I want to see that. I don't. It's weird, you know. You forget that, like, because you get so used to like local fans of Japanese shit that you forget there's like Japanese fans at all. You just forget that they're there.
Yeah. So Masuda, the director, says, I think it's fair to say that both are involved. I mean, in any design situation, resources and time are always a constraint on what you can do in a project. But at the same time, from a creative perspective, it's part of a discussion we've had at Game Freak with Nintendo and the Pokemon Company, and we came to the decision that at some point we need to be able to prioritize new gameplay ideas. We need to be able to find a way to balance the right number of Pokemon and also introduce new ways for players to enjoy the game. New gameplay ideas to keep the series fresh and enjoyable far into the future. Now, I delved a little bit and asked a few people who play different Japanese franchises and stuff about this. Because when I thought about it and thought about everything that's been added into Pokemon and taken out over the years, nearly every iteration gets something that's cut. Even if it's good, a really good idea that should stick around. And,
weird.
you know.
Well, there's a fundamental tension in making sure the game is fresh for old, you know, returning players.
Yeah.
And making sure it's like, because anyone new, the game's fresh. It doesn't matter if it's like a decade-old idea in the game. If it works and the returning players like it, it's going to be fresh to the people who are just starting anyway. You know,
So for the big thing for this is the national dex.
So what is the national dex?
National dex was after a certain point in the game, you got a national dex upgrade, which allowed you to transfer Pokemon from other regions.
Okay, so like other games would not have like some Pokemon in, and you'd be able to get your old game or something, and or
they have transfer stations and stuff. Or
okay, and you could go online to your home or whatever and like shift them over.
Connect to that. And,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you could then take all your old Pokemon and put them into the new one.
Yes,
and then
which you can't do. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, they'll patch them in, they'll put them in, and they've come on record to say, no, we are doing games like this now in the future. And we'll get to a reason of why I think that after we get this function here. So following Pokemon that follow you is gone.
That's weird because I really feel like that's
that's basic.
Well, yeah, that is basic. It's also like, part of the thing.
You have models. You literally have models in the overworld. You literally have models in the battle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because again, I come from that thing of like, I want to do like on the TV show. I want it to look like the TV show and sound like it.
And Gabriel. In the previous games, even though they weren't really used, there was walking and running animations for all the models. So they've literally got the support for
the guy riding that fucking Gengar is great.
Yeah, so
you used to be able to ride them.
To ride them.
Big ones.
Yep, it's gone. Dex Nav showed you Pokemon that were like in the grass area and stuff. Gone. Player search system, which was an online system that showed you people that were nearby locally, and you could search for them stuff. Online version as well. Super training, which was for competitive reasons and stuff.
For the nuts.
Soaring, allowing you to fly in the Pokemon on the overworld. And,
mode 7.
Contests were removed. The Safari Zone, like the old ones where you, that's removed. Ball seals, they were pretty
lock in the freshness.
Useless. They were a little, but it was a customization.
I mean, like,
there.
honestly, I feel like it's one of those things where in any list like this, you are going to get shit that's dumb and no one cares is gone. Yeah. But like the point of any kind of like, there's no point in doing anything if you're just going to start again every time. Yeah. Like surely the point of developing new ideas is to then have them integrate into the core of the game because you've improved something.
Yeah. So we got rid of Battle Frontier in the World Tournament, which were end game areas from Emerald and Black and White, which were post game very, very fucking popular. Roaming legendaries, so legendaries that you'd unleash and they'd roam. Easy and hard modes, which were
I feel like
these sorts of things.
That is a no-brainer for this kind of game because you can, again, like we were saying when we were playing, the game on the record, but like this is one of those situations where the game as a series has been running for 23 years. Beards like you play it and children play it, and that's it. It has equal appeal, understandably. And I feel like if at the start of the game, your mum goes, hey, have you, read your Pokemon dictionary? And that's you, like, explaining, I've played, like, every other Pokemon. And then they could make it a bit harder and not tell you every goddamn, thing every step of the way. And if you go, no, because you're 5. And then it's the handhold one that makes it fucking easier. And there's really no reason that shouldn't be in a game like this.
Yeah. So, Mega Evolution, which was really good, taken out. Right. Fucking rip. Emu's taken out. I'm actually happy about that. But it was still a new feature, rip.
Well, I think like, Mega Evolution, that's a cool, interesting thing. Z-moves, that's a kind of inconvenient hassle for competitive. So. Yeah.
Secret Base is taken out. That sucked. Underground, that was Black White, taken out. Sucked. Joint Avenue, Wi-Fi Plaza, they were both they're taken out. They're relevant to that time's connectivity. Right. So, Friends of Fire was actually really cool. On your friends list, based on their ID, their Safari would have different Pokemon in it that you could catch. Huh. So different people from different regions could have different Pokemon that could have higher stats. So, if you had a really desirable Pokemon, then like shitloads of people added you for you and stuff like that. It was a cool idea.
Am I desirable?
The Mac Acro bike where you could jump across river and shit. Like,
sweet.
That was cool. O-Powers, they were just like kind of boost.
You summoned the Oprah.
Just like more money and stuff and other things like that. They were just, that's good. They're gone. Swarms was sad. Swarms were like a bunch of Pokemon that attack you like 4 or 5 at a time. So you could like use them for grinding effort values in the background, which is really good. Board battles essentially the same thing. Sky battles, running thing in the sky. Seasons, I don't know why that was never put back in. Cycle through seasons.
I feel like that's another one of those things.
Like that's fucking such a good immersion thing. So easy.
Well, especially because that's such an easy way to add artificial extension to the gameplay. Is like you want to catch them all, but there's only one Pokemon that comes out during winter. You know?
You had the rematch radio and stuff. Why is that gone? Had a bank for you. The
Mum
Dream
bank.
World, I kind of understand why that's not on because it was kind of relevant
What
to that
was it?
story and stuff. It was a way to. I'm not even going to try to explain it. Auto run toggle. Why is that gone? Second region.
So is that after you beat it, a second region would be open?
Yeah. Pokeathlon, Game Corner. Game Corner's died, which is insane because gambling exists.
Mm.
Like, fuck. So, these are the problems that people feel
Dexit.
are pretty bad. So yeah, Dexit, which is the cutting of the Pokemon. The models aren't all awful. Like they look nice on the presentation.
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
from
Like,
what I was saying. Like, it's not. Again, I wasn't expecting them to look like I don't know much,
but
like
the problem for
I think
myself
it's an animation. Like,
and everyone that should be asking is, we shouldn't be getting a Game Boy Pokemon on the Switch.
Yeah,
This should be Breath of the Wild
there
Pokemon.
should have been a little bit of wow to it. Yeah,
This should be an evolution of the series. It's been 23 years. This
it's
is
the first
most
console Pokemon.
profitable franchise.
That's because that's the thing that's
the
weird to me.
world.
Is
and my big
how does that happen?
big theory
how
is,
does Game Freak only
and
have
the
like 12
problem-
people working at it?
it's because they only want that many people work there. They want to retain themselves as a small studio because they think they work at better that problem.
I mean, I understand that in
now
theory,
they want
but
yearly fucking releases.
Yeah.
You barely got this one, and like people are like, oh, they're just lazy and stuff. It's like, no, they're not lazy. They're working with new technology that they've had little experience with. They're a small dev studio, and they don't have enough time because to
Bet
make
Factor
that
5
super
could make a
polished
kick-ass Pokemon game.
good. The current progress would take so long for them, and that's the thing is, Pokemon needs it. Mario gets it. Zelda gets it. Metroid gets it. The problem here is
Mario Odyssey was such a that was like fucking the first time I played Mario
And-
64 again.
the big impact, Gabe, is you as a consumer pick up Pokemon Sword and Shield in one hand,
Pokemon Schlong and
Mario Odyssey in the other hand.
Yeah.
What's the difference between those? They both go on your Switch. They both say Nintendo.
Yeah.
Quality. Luigi's Mansion 3 that just launched, one of the most beautifulest animated games on that I've seen.
it has a lot of character.
It's so character, charm.
Charm,
You see
yeah,
no
that's a good word. It
difference.
has charm.
You see no difference. You see Nintendo. Now, I know better because I research, I look into it. The difference is Nintendo allows this to exist and push it because they're not the whole say.
Yeah.
They own 32% of
It's the Pokemon company that they have a
Pokemon.
shared.
so there's the Pokemon
isn't it?
company and then there's Game Freak and Creatures Inc. So it's split so many
It's
ways.
weird.
And something I tried to find and I couldn't was a budget for a Pokemon game because
Yeah.
they must be so fucking low.
It's weird.
And that's the thing is, no company wants to give more because they're getting these returns. And that's
Yeah.
the problem with these people just blindly buying Pokemon is it hurts because they'll see the sales and go, why should we change this? And that's the problem is you're buying an $80. Is it $80? How much is it? Let's have a look.
I don't know. I have not looked.
Not the dual pack.
Pokemon Peen and Vagine.
So it's $80,
Yeah, it's
right?
$80.
So over time, Game Boy games were 69. 69? 59? 69, I think. That was.
Something. Yeah, like these do look like Game Boy games, and I forget that the Switch is actually
That's
capable
the
of
thing
like
is,
Mario
you-
and Breath
you
of the
push it
Wild.
next to, Odyssey and Breath of the Wild, and you.
I mean,
you
they've
notice the
even managed to
difference.
get a workable Witcher 3 on that fucking thing.
Yeah, and it looks great. So the game's short, whatever. The graphics are mediocre. Look, yes, they are. Constant graphical issues, not just slow. Pop up. Look, pop up seems to be good and bad depending on the speed of your media you're you have it on.
Okay.
Like pop-in, I haven't noticed as bad on playing off a cartridge or an SD card of a very high speed, but I've seen videos of it terrible.
Yeah.
So I think mileage varies on your class
Your
of
class of SD card.
SD card. Yeah.
What about if it's a download?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the speed of the SD card you'll have it on. If you've got it internally on the Switch, it should be pretty poppy.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was what I meant when I said download. I thought, like,
Right.
if you've got it saved inside,
Yeah.
I assume it'd be quicker.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, that is something people don't know about is, like, SD cards can have really, even ones that are nominally fucking the same, like, it's usually worthwhile to look up a review because often you'll see people will do data transfer measuring tests, and that's worthwhile because some shit will fuck up.
Yeah.
Because I had to get a decent one because of my GPD win too.
Yeah.
It's impossible to store Steam games on the SD card if it's too slow.
Yeah.
It just won't fucking load, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Crashes.
So yeah, the animations, people are very upset. Cutscenes.
That's fair because the animations look like anus.
So cutscenes, kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
So I played through a bit on one, and then I restarted, and I turned the toggle on that said skip cutscenes, and it said warning, cutscenes will be skipped. I'm like, well, yeah. But it's just
Can you not just push a button? Like,
apparently not.
Yeah.
I've not found one cutscene I can skip. Yep, after turning that option on.
Interesting.
So because nearly every cutscene's a little in-game cutscene where you dialogue and stuff. Anyway, you can't do that. In the second town, Gabriel, you meet a man who goes, "Hello, I've got these high-tech earbuds. I'm going to give you a pair of high-tech earbuds." And you're like, "Oh, what do these do?" They give you the options in the sound, have sliders to adjust your sound volume.
That's weird.
So you could have missed this. You could have not talked to this dude and never been able to adjust your sound.
Also,
What? Why is that a
yeah,
choice?
why would you make a fucking quality of life option an in-game item?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. That's something that, like, From Software would do. They're maniacs.
So, post-game's non-existent. Dynamaxing is this game's replacement for... It's basically a gimmick. It makes certain Pokemon grow giant. They get certain different moves.
Big Executor.
They stay giant for 3 moves. You can only do it once per battle and once per Pokemon. So, a big problem is difficulty. And, like, the games have never been overly difficult, obviously, for a competent gamer. But this game is just insultingly bad. Like...
Again, considering it's a stat-based,
Yeah.
fucking
So,
turn-based,
start
fighting
off with,
system.
They give you the experience all system.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it.
So
whenever you fight, all the Pokemon get the same amount of experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is, in the past games, there's a toggle. You turn it on and off. And this is what they had to say about having it always on in this version. In the past, we've used the experience system, and more recently, you were able to disable it and limit the experience gain to a single Pokemon. Yet, we noticed that many players were leaving the experience share system set to on. Seeing this, we started to wonder if there really was a need for players to be able to turn it off. If there was value in it as gameplay feature. Of course, we discussed the fact that some players only wanted to train one Pokemon at a time. What arose from our talks is that if a Pokemon player wanted to do this, why not bring only one Pokemon with them? In order to remove the need for the off switch, why not allow them to change their team anywhere and any time? This way, if they only want to have one Pokemon at their side and focus on leveling up, they can. Otherwise, they can have a full team training them all at once and thus having an easier time. Rather than focus on experience share, we concentrate on team composition. You know, Gabe. You know what, Gabe? Instead of fucking focusing on making your game better, maybe you could have fucking had the 5 seconds to have that toggle on off.
Because it's literally a switch.
Yeah.
Like, I know you want to light in your lounge room, Aaron, but, like, why not just set a fire?
It's always on.
Like, yeah. I mean, that's weird. Like, because we're not talking about this isn't like, all right, spend, like, a month or two putting some decent animation work in. It's like, that's a bad reason to do a dumb thing. A lot of people didn't use it. Also,
so
not a lot of people use, like, 144 hertz. Like, it's still an option. Like,
just disable the option for everyone. And that's the thing is...
That's the point. It's an option. That's why they call it an option.
The thing is...
Just take one Pokemon with you.
They've respected the ability and your time over the years. They've let you keep up with your Pokemon, your collection and everything, and bring them forward. And now, you've got these insulting things like, we think's what's best. we're turning, and it's like, it's literally a quality of life feature on or off.
Yeah, it's zero. I guarantee there's probably going to be a mod that puts
It makes
that in.
the game
But like,
frustratingly easy, and the problem is,
well, and again, it's a game series with two markets. You know, people who have been playing this game since, like you, who were 10. You know,
so an example is your rival, and in the past games, except for Sun and Moon and On, your rival has always picked your opposite element. He's picked your weakness.
yeah.
The current ones, they pick like a Pokemon that's weak against yours, and it's like, oh, okay, that's not
Weird.
needed, but sure. Anyway, so in the battle, he's got 3 Pokemon, Gabe. I throw out my little water man.
Oh,
No,
he's the sad one, isn't he?
I'm using the Grass Boy on my current playthrough.
Okay.
Yeah, for the record, we were using the little tadpole. And he throws out his sheep. I kill the sheep. And in any other Pokemon game, they'd go, oh shit, he's using a water type. I'm going to use anything that's not fire. He throws out a fire type. And it's like, that was just his next Pokemon in line. It's like, dude, that's already, your AI has already failed a fundamental check of something that's any difficulty in the slightest.
Yeah, well, that was always the thing, was like, you'd choose Leaf and he'd choose Fire, and you'd be like, oh, you can't.
Yeah. So the other baffling choice is they've added restrictions to your catching. So when you start the game, until you get the first badge, you can't catch Pokemon over level 20. You can't. The game's like, oh, they're too strong to catch. And it's like, I sort of appreciate what you're going for, but...
Well, again, that's fixing a problem that natural difficulty would normally do. The whole idea is if a Pokemon's 20 levels above you, you shouldn't be able to beat it.
But if I, like, sacrifice my whole team and beat him down, and I should be able to catch him.
Oh, yeah, no. If you can manage it,
yeah.
But it should be like, it should be one of those things that's like, okay, yeah, you're going to have to...
They take away the option.
Get some kind of bizarro person meta strat to do it.
Yeah, they just take away the option. So in this game, they've introduced the wild area, which is a big open area where if you're online, you can see other people and you can do raids against giant Pokemon and stuff. Like, the ideas are cool. Like, the idea's cool. The Pokemon just pop out of nowhere and attack you, and they're usually higher level, and they're all too high level to catch on your first run through. So you just go, well, what's the point of exploring this little bit of open world you've given me?
Yeah.
Because everything's too high for me.
They can get a look at it.
So that becomes an issue. The online system is bad. They got rid of the global trading system that we were talking about earlier and how it works.
Okay. Can you trade it all now?
You can, but it's very arbitrary. You just got to press trade, and then it will just look for people who are trading. Then you can put a code in if you want, and someone else can put a code in, and hopefully it will find it.
So, like, if I want to trade, I don't know, Pig Fucker for Knuckle Duster, I click on my Pig Fucker, and then what happens? I go trade, and then what if I don't get Knuckle Duster?
Well, you'll connect to someone looking to trade.
I can like click, okay, I want a Pig Duster for a Knuckle Duster.
I don't even think you can do that. I think you can just say, I want to trade.
I want to trade, and then just something shows up at my house.
No, you put something up, and then if you want what they've got, they put something up. But there's no communication. You can't communicate with anyone, so you can't.
Again, Nintendo is so weird with that, because like they said no communication for ages.
I don't even think it's Nintendo, because that's another detriment, is their online system is completely separate from the Switches. It's built into the game. So it aggressively takes over your Switch system. So if you've got custom DNS settings and stuff set up, it just won't use those. It just takes its own. Because if you exit the game when it's active and go like eShop or anything else, or even settings, it goes, your network can't be in setting till the software is disconnected. It's like, what?
Oh, that's nuts.
Excuse me? So yeah, it's using its own thing. So like, it's not even using the Switch friend codes thing, which would make sense.
Because what Nintendo needed was another layer.
I know, right? And that's the problem, is I feel that everyone is sitting around within these companies and going, we're making bank on spending like $200K making this game. Let's keep it going, because they've intentionally gone, we want to keep the studio small. I think a big reason the engine is like this and the Pokemon were cut is because they're going to announce it.
I mean, if I could get the same amount of patron money from just uploading a fucking picture of my bum cheeks.
I know, right?
You know, just once a fucking week.
The reason that the engine...
I'd resist it at the start, but I'd collapse eventually.
I think the reason the engine and all the Pokemon cuts is because they're going to announce a remake of Diamond and Pearl within a year. It's going to have a lot of Pokemon that are missing. And they're also announced Pokemon Home, which is a paid online service, much like Bank, which again isn't a problem in the scheme of things. What's possible if Pokemon Home is a service like Pokemon Stadium, where you can battle people in that thing. It's its own separate thing. You can trade, all that sort of stuff. That's okay for cutting Pokemon from the main games then, because you're getting them to the home for the purpose of the competitive side.
When I pay like $5 for fucking PlayStation Plus, I get access to the game's online features. It feels weird that people are having to, or is it?
It's separate.
Oh, okay, so it's wholly
separate. It's a separate app. That's what I'm saying.
What does it go on? Is it on the Switch or on your phone?
It'll be on the Switch and phone.
Okay.
Because apparently you'll be able to trade on the phone.
All right.
Which again,
will that connect with the old thing, or is it just like are you going to be able to transfer your old shit?
It hasn't. We haven't been given much information on it.
There's not going to be much point if you can't, get the old stuff.
Yeah.
Back.
So the whole point, I think, if they've got plans like this, they need to come out and say this sort of shit. They need to say it early and what it's for, because the problem is now Japan's got on this, and let's have a look at the Japan.
Because we went through this with Capcom, and again, it's a communication thing where it's just you can save a lot of trouble if I have a clue what the fuck's going on. Because at the start, last year Capcom did a really good DLC pack for Street Fighter where they said they had a trailer come out early. Here's the characters that are coming out this year. Here's when they come out. This is how much the fucking pack's going to cost, or you can get them with fight money, etc. And that was good. Everyone was happy. That was a good year. And then at the start of this year, they were like, "Oh, we got to do something different." And then they didn't say anything for 6 months. And then we got 3 characters, and now there's a 4th one announced, and that's it. And it's what leads to fans sitting around grumbling. And just this kind of negative circle of speculation where, you've got no information. It's like the way, Nintendo are finally putting SNES games on the fucking stupid thing. Why not just say that years ago? Why not just just go, oh, yeah, it's starting with NES games, there'll be SNES games, and we're going to go from there.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's I now have a fucking expectation.
You have social platforms.
I might think, yeah, it's not good now, but I know in the future it's going to be better.
So, Japan is upset. Over 50%.
That's funny to watch because,
50% of the sales of Ultra Sun and Moon. The sales are very down. The problem is the game's selling, and people will just pick it up and not care.
Yeah.
And this is never going to change, and that's such a big problem. The only chance is Japan.
Uh-huh.
It is literally Japan. So any support of this, you need to support Japan and the fans and getting the word out there.
I've just learned some Japanese online grass half year. Huh.
So,
what was the grass half year thing?
I was debating Pokemon Sword or Switch, but it's nice to buy a Ring Fit Adventure. Too talented. He has a decision. You're the best winner in this thread. Congrats. Sometimes conversation sentence a bit odd. Translation teams in common. So they'd be having a hard time because the game is English. It uses English slang and shit, so that would be translated very badly. First bug, super buggy. It's not level like surf in the room. After all, destroy the hardware. Awesome. Some data disappears. Bug games or fucking bugs. Try and send them in random. Awesome because it's random. Eat curry. Calm down.
Someone took this chancy.
So,
grass half year assumption is abnormal. I'm assuming assumption is abnormal is just the next JoJo series. Grass half year assumption is abnormal.
Yeah, you can see the mouse cursor in the opening video. Also, Japan are on the boomers joke, apparently.
That's good. Everyone, that needs to be a global thing. Because it's a global problem.
Also, that's 2 mouse cursors now, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was one of the eggs ending too.
Lord. Like, this is what I mean when, like, you know, shit piles up. You know, if you think something's been rushed and incompetent, and then there's like a mouse cursor on one of the videos, then, you know.
So, to go further upon this, so it's being a hardcore Pokemon fan right now is just it's sad because I've played it. I've played it a little, and underneath it, it is still a fun Pokemon romp. You know, the story is it's Pokemon level,
It's
it's all sorts of
Pokemon,
stuff, but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just it's a console game that has $95 billion worth behind it. It makes 17,
Yeah.
17 bill from the games alone. And
Temtem has more features.
the fact is, the Pokemon Sword and Shield anime just got aired. Guess what it has, Gabe? Pokemon that aren't available in the fucking game. That's a fucking joke, mate. That's a fucking joke. And it just feels like a slap in the face.
Is that the one where Ash finally won?
Yeah.
Although
This
his
last
face looks
series.
fucked now. Like, I don't know why Ash getting older just is his head getting bigger and like two weird Zs on his face.
So you've got a
I
very
don't
big
understand
contrast right now between Digimon and Pokemon.
Huh.
Digimon are making...
I didn't know Digimon was still
they're
going.
making a new game.
Yeah, now's the time to strike.
I think it's called Survive. I think that's it. Yes.
What the fuck?
Survival strategy role playing. So they're just really showing, you know, that Digimon fans have evolved. And they're going with it. Spell gameplay in it? A little bit. So it's like an
Yeah,
actual...
Okay. I gotta get out of a bizarre dimension.
So like an actual strategy game. The art is beautiful. You know, they've aged up some of the characters and stuff. And it's just like, what's the opposite? Because in all the Digimon series, as they've gone on, they've aged up the characters.
Mm.
Perpetual 10-year-old fucking Ash. What the fuck?
How old is he supposed to be now?
10.
I thought he was older. And
Pretty sure he's always 10.
I thought he was like meant to be. Because that's why they gave him a weird face.
Nope. Ash.
Does he have a last name?
Catch him.
Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck, I forgot about that.
Pokemon. Gotta
Imagine
catch
if your last name was Dentist. Like, okay,
This is translated. That's not
excellent.
the side I want. Why is it giving me in fucking
He's
like...
got a mustache in that one. This is terrible. Okay, let's fucking go to Wikipedia where it's not been molested by drunk Portuguese.
I don't think they're going to comment on his age. Wait. No.
Might be in the top, like
I didn't see it.
fictional character.
Age is not there.
No, I mean like in the top paragraph.
Oh.
But like, I don't know.
This is weird that I can't find it.
Maybe it's in Bulbapedia. That's usually like, and that's the obsessive fucking. Yeah, it says age there.
Age at 10. Yeah, 10.
Huh.
It's perpetually 10. I hate it.
I'm gonna pull.
It's fucked up. He's literally age.
Pokemon trainer, yeah. Achievements. That's just weird. Because isn't the game character now not Ash? He's like Red Trainer or whatever the shit.
Yeah. Red was...
Okay, in
Ash was based on
Pokemon I
Red.
Choose You, he begins at the age of 10. I swear it changed. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm
No,
just
he
fucking
does not age,
confusing
dude.
shit.
This is they never bring it up again.
It's just, you know, now he's got a really deep voice. Yeah,
No,
they're
his voice
like,
is... Well, he's
no,
a new voice
go
actor.
up, go
That's
up.
why.
because that's the weird munted face Ash. The top left there.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
what the fuck?
I've seen the series. It's
so weird looking. It's just longer, and I don't. Ash and Paul. All right, cool. Wrong with you? There's a Pokemon called Scrotum. Scorum or something.
So
Grass half, yeah. So that's Japanese LMAO. That's nice.
the big... It's just... The thing that blows my mind is a company of this money and this worth said, we are doing this for this reason. They lied.
Yeah.
There's proof they lied.
Well, it's
Where's
the fish.
Jim Sterling?
Yeah, it's the fish.
Where's all the fucking clickbait baiters on this? This is a major fucking problem that has played a series that is literally out there right now selling millions in the stores.
Oh, okay.
Like, fuck me.
The problem is people are idiots. Like, and, you know, they're going to buy the thing and it's going to make money and you're going to, like, because I went through this being a fan of professional wrestling with the WWF, which I don't watch anymore, finally, because it just sucked too hard. And after, like, several years of, it's going to start getting good now, because something good will happen. And, like, I'm not talking about, like, you know, they managed to regularly put on reasonably good matches.
Yeah.
But, you know, the storylines are just deranged crap that are, you know, written with, you know, barely a month's foresight. And so the entire time you're there going, something good happened. This is it. They're gonna go somewhere. Something, you know, is gonna be fucking good again. And it just never fucking happens. And, you know, finally, fortunately with wrestling, there's alternatives. You know, you start watching, like, you know, New Japan that has, like, an actual sort of competitive narrative to it. And New Japan will do stories that last 4 years. Like, fucking years in advance, they get this shit done. And so you wind up with, like, great moments that have been built and reward the person who was engaging in it for, you know, all this time, as opposed to punishing them and making them look like an idiot.
I understand that. I understand it. Like that. Like, I understand why people, because the thing is, it's the brand name. It's literally Pokemon. It's been there that long, and everyone knows what sort of game you get.
If the WWE was any other fucking company, it would have, well, except maybe fucking Impact, it would have, you know, folded.
Exactly.
Like, it's like Saturday Night Live.
And it's the same
thing.
thing.
That's still going, and mostly it sucks.
That's not what baffles me. It baffles me that the people who claim they want to get this shit out in the open and help games and stuff prolong this, they don't, like, all this information's here, but they don't even really comment on it. Like, Jim Sterling did a Dexit video, but it was really hard to tell if he was for it or against it. It seemed like he was just making fun of everyone involved.
In the culture, which is nerds who I'm not like other nerds, and they will reflexively like things if people they don't like it. And this, you know, cuts several ways. But it's like there'll be people who will say that, like, The Last Jedi was, you know, a really good movie. And it isn't. That's a dumb statement. Because, you know, there are people who, like, fucking threatened the actress who played Rose and shit. And look, people who do that should just fucking kill themselves. They're a waste of space. But that doesn't mean the movie's good.
Yeah.
You know? And that's, you'll see a lot of that. People will get annoyed with this being a shitty game, and there'll be an entire fucking cadre of people going, oh, yeah, whatever, and will like it purely because other people are annoyed with the game being kind of shit.
Yeah. And the problem, and, like, what I want you to take away from this, guys, is the game is a Pokemon game. It is still like a 7 to a 9 out of 10 game. Bare bones, at the end of the day, it's a sorted Pokemon affair. It's a standard affair you're getting into. It's shorter than normal, but, you know, it's what you'd expect from a Pokemon game. And that's the problem, is what people have come to expect from a Pokemon game. And we need to look at the fact that it is a $95 billion franchise. And
it's the most money one. That's nuts. Where does all the money go, you suppose?
Nintendo needs to...
Are the people in charge of Game Freak butt-fuck rich? Like, who's the richest off this?
It would have to be... Well, none of this shit's, like... It's all hard to find.
It's really annoying.
Japanese and spread between so many subsidiaries and everything. Because Nintendo, I know, have a share in Game Freak as well. But that's undisclosed. So it's so hard, dude. And it comes down to a power struggle of 4 companies with hands in wanting to spend as little as possible and not improve things, because suddenly, we need to improve this game. How much is it going to cost? $2 million. Who's paying that? I don't want to pay that. I don't want to, you know, and it's just... It's fucking, you've got $95 billion. Biggest, you are the biggest. You've got no competitor. Temtem is your best competitor, and fucking who knows about Temtem? Like,
I will bang the gong for Temtem. I fucking, you know, Shovel Bat or whatever the fuck was in Temtem, he's better.
Because, like, Japan is marching, and I'm glad, because it's not good enough.
Nintendo pays attention to Japan. They don't give a shit about anything else, really.
And Nintendo know better than anyone how delaying a game can make the world of difference.
That's their whole thing.
Exactly.
Is a bad game is bad forever.
Like, you got to wonder, like, what's it going to take to get it out of Game Freak's hands? Because that's right now they've just got so much control. Like,
Because it can't go broke. Like, that's the fact.
it's impossible.
It's impossible. It's just, short of, I don't know, global catastrophe.
If the game was like, hey, these Pokemon are raping the children, like, yeah, maybe.
Because you forget about, because that's, again, the parallel with the WWE is really good, because the WWE is basically idiot-proof for like 5 years. Like, my housemate and I describe it as they're building Grey Health up. Like, because they got amazing TV deals, so they're making money hand over fucking fist. So it doesn't matter how much they suck. It just fucking doesn't. And that's basically where Pokemon is. I mean, they could probably just disappear for a few years and still be staggeringly popular.
And that's the thing is, everyone's calling them for now to please don't do fucking yearly. Just please. Like, it's...
I honestly don't. There's no games that should be yearly. It's ridiculous.
No.
Like, any game that can be yearly can be a fucking DLC pack. Like, that's the thing that drives me nuts about the WWE games. Wrestling games are the perfect games for having one engine that lasts you for about 5 years and some DLC packs.
Yeah.
Literally perfect. What happened? Oh, this person's costume changed and now they're evil. Great, here's that DLC. That would be like if you buy like the deluxe edition that gets season passes where you keeps it up to date. That'd be something of... You could just release, 2K19, 2K20.
And now it's even worse because their original dev left.
Oh, yeah, no, 2K, like, I've hated the 2K series for such a long time. Like, they are a terrible, terrible fucking series of games. Play Akai mods, people at home. I don't know, I think it'll get to a point, like, I'm interested now in looking into, like, older games and also, mods. Well, apparently Nintendo's getting fucking, a little trigger happy on the mod scenes and stuff.
No. That's only anything involved with Mario. They've always been... It depends what it is.
I suppose if someone could make a whole fucking Pokemon of cute anime girls.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing is, a lot of...
Gotta see their butts.
A lot of stuff that gets shut down is things that are in lines with projects. Like, if they're making a complete standalone Pokemon game using Pokemon IP, that's obviously a problem. If they're remaking, like when they shut down that Metroid remake because they were doing a Metroid remake again.
No, that was fair because literally, they were like, we're actually doing it this time.
Yeah,
like,
so Nintendo
right.
actually let a lot of fan project live because...
Well, also another Metroid 2 remake is available. You can get it.
Yeah, once it's released, you can't stop getting something. Same with Pokemon Uranium. No, it's up there. It's still being updated. You can't stop it. But that's the thing is Nintendo leave a lot of that sort of stuff. Square Enix, though, those motherfuckers, like a hawk. Any property, doesn't matter what it is. Chrono Trigger, dead and in the ground, has never been touched. Even slight rumblings of even trying to do a remake, you'll get hit. Like, fuck.
That's a shame.
It's just like...
I loved Chrono. That was
Chrono Trigger's great. I'd love to see... I hope one day they do have one. They just go, boom, here it is. Like, yeah, man. Sure. Let's get it on. Give me more, like, Link's Awakenings remakes and stuff like that. Those, just like, yeah. I'll take those. Touch them on my nipples.
We're in a weird situation where a company that is ostensibly at least 4 companies that are in charge of what is the most profitable thing on earth, are starving the development time and funds for a game series, leading to really just sort of crappy games.
It's just decline.
And people are still buying them, so nothing will change. And welcome to being a fan of a lot of old stuff in modern era. It's only gonna get worse.
Because they have $95 billion franchise.
That is nuts.
And literally people are just clapping, going, yay, Pokemon. And it's like, you can see it. Like, the game doesn't even use AA. Like, it doesn't use the standard basic tools to mask bad fucking graphics and stuff. Like, it's bizarre. It's like when you'll pull a fish out of the water and then suddenly you'll be on a land battlescape, nowhere near water. And it's just, Pokemon have no scale.
I mean,
so
haven't
Pokemon-
prior games, done that as well? Like, that's the bit that honks my cheese. Is like, if it's stuff that's been done before, then it's proved you can do it. Like,
Well, they obviously in the older things they just had sprites and stuff. But yeah, when you're on water, there was a little water sprite and background and stuff. Yeah. But it's just weird shit like that, man. Like it's just basic stuff that you look and go, why? It comes back to my only thing that they're not changing that engine on purpose for that remake, so they can just go boom. Because it is an established franchise, and they don't want to change anything because that's their core. Behind merchandise, that's their core. That's their thing driving. When a new one drops, what drops with it? Anime, merchandise,
anime,
movies.
You gotta get one of those coffins with the big hat.
The funniest thing is Pokemon.
Surfetched is badass. I will say that.
I have a shiny one.
Oh, fuck
He's
yeah.
yellow and he looks like he's holding a banana. It's great. What was I gonna say?
Well, I mean, it's hard. Like, it's like global warming. Like they try to offset the responsibility of that onto independent consumers when really it's an issue of massive. Wow, he's holding a fucking banana. When really it's an issue of like massive companies doing most of the damage, but they don't want to like do anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
Japan
at the end of the day, I just don't see much of a solution for this. This isn't like the Sonic thing where the outcry was just so perfectly universal. They went and spent $5 million.
There's literally no solution outside of Japan getting up in arms enough that because they will listen. That is their first market. That is their culture.
Yeah.
They will listen. And I'm happy to support it, and I'm happy that the Japanese fans are getting up in arms and getting upset about it, because it's just, you think you wait all this time for a Switch game, and then you get a game like Breath of the Wild, which is such a wild, drastic departure of a traditional Zelda game.
Well, also just don't fucking, if you lie to your fucking customers and they catch you, people are gonna fucking drag you for it. That's just that's a goddamn reality. I mean, especially like we're making better animations, and it's like, we can see. We can see, like, where?
Yeah. Well, where are these animations hidden, champ?
Where are they? Yeah.
So, the greatest bit to end on is one of the great old Swish hackers. Can't remember I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I'll show you or something.
You tell me.
I'll have a crack at it.
His name is Michael, but his tag.
Screezum.
Something like that.
Cyrez.
So he's a Switch hacker. He's a Switch hacker. He's done the Atmosphere custom firmware for the Switch and long-term Pokemon hacker and stuff.
Right.
And so he actually took a Pokemon from Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu that doesn't exist in Sword and Shield and imported it into the game.
Yeah.
And added it as a new Pokemon.
Huh.
So he's got it running.
What do you import? Pokemon Chud and Thunder. That's a fucking titty punch.
So yeah, that Pokemon doesn't exist.
Onyx, no. Fucking, I used to know what that thing's called. Omnite. Yeah, it's the fucking Nautilus with the fucking...
So yeah, it's super easy to import because, again, the engines are pretty much identical. So the modders are already on it and they're looking at putting in,
Yeah, all the stuff.
Not only that,
they'll have an option for fucking the experience thing.
There's other... I think that's already in there. Where was it? I was going through replies. There was a guy who was like an actual like animator and stuff. Who's like, I'm gonna do like animations for them all and stuff. And he already showed like one that he'd already animated and stuff, and it looks gorgeous and stuff. It's like, it's gonna be really, 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 really good if the modders get together and make like Pokemon Shiny Sword or something.
Pokemon Mate and Pokemon Cunt.
Yeah, that are just like complete. Beautiful animation, gorgeous, all the missing Pokemon. Imagine that, because it's just gonna...
Oh, yeah, no, I've been living that. Like, that was what it was with the 3D Fallouts, like, I'm playing Fallout 4 again a bit, and like, I've downloaded a big pile of like fucking crazy mods. And there are people who've added whole, like, mission structures with dialogue and shit.
That's a PC game. That's expected. That's the thing, is all this shit is going to run on a Switch. That's running on a Switch. You don't need to run this on an emulator. That footage from that import that's
Was from
running
on a Switch.
on the Switch.
Oh wow, nuts! I thought I was going through like
No.
Yuzu and shit.
Ooh. So that's the big impact here is I can literally have that on a mod, load it on my Switch, and go, hey Nintendo, look at that. And that would make them sweat. That really would, because
They'll just get the lawyers out.
well, yeah, I mean I wouldn't do it
Nintendo
personally.
used lawyer.
But yeah, that's
Super
the
effective.
crazy thing is that I think from the gaming company, I know Doug Bowser will be hearing about this. It would be amazing to hear Reggie talk about it.
Do they ever
'Cause-
fucking address this shit though? Like
Well, that's what I'm saying is Reggie doesn't work for Nintendo anymore. That's why I'd love his
Reggie Uncut. Man, fuck this shit. Like
Yeah.
just I've wanted to swear for years. Never let me swear.
He would never say about it. He had the best relationship with everyone.
Who's someone who left on bad terms?
I would like to meet someone who's on bad terms with Reggie. They don't exist because he's killed them all.
Just eats them. Swallows them whole.
Him and Tony Robbins.
Never, yeah. Doesn't even shit out the bones.
Unhinges his jaw. So yeah,
Yeah.
like
Feeds them
At
to
the end
his
of the day-
Sasquatchian children.
if you're going to buy Pokemon, that's cool. It doesn't matter. Just please be aware of the series and where it's going and the implications of your purchase.
Write a letter to him. Like, hey, this sucks.
That actually happened. They started
Yeah.
on Reddit, jumped on and said, hey, write letters here and stuff. And, because letters speak.
Yeah.
They're physical mail. You've got to pay to send that letter.
Yeah, back in the old day, you used to have to take an actual picture of your penis, go to a fucking Kmart, the Kodak Center.
Hopefully the
And-
lady didn't give you a weird
Yeah,
look
no,
when she
she'd see
developed
it and you'd just be like, look, it is what it is, all right? Give me my photos. Well, the idea is you take, because you normally get 30 photos. So you take a picture of like 28 carrots and then just like one dick. And then the idea is, you're not going to notice. He's going, carrot. This guy's taking pictures of lots of carrots. And then, you'd have to like, sit in the park for 8 hours a day and see a pretty girl you liked. You'd go, I'm going to stalk her and find out where she lives. And then you had to get a stamp. Like, it was nuts. Courting back in the olden times.